Hey everyone, here's how you can use the Sidekick API to feed data from your knowledge base into LLMs like ChatGPT. So before I get into the details, I'm going to show you a quick example of what you can build with the Sidekick API. So here I've set up a Slack bot that's trained on all of Airbyte's documentation and can answer questions based on that documentation. So if I can just mention Sidekick here and just ask it how to run Airbyte, the Slack bot is just going to search through all the documentation, get all the relevant snippets, feed that into ChatGPT prompt, and then come back to me with an answer with citations to the actual sources. So looks like Sidekick has responded, and we have our answer, we have some code snippets, and we also have the citation, so I can actually go back and double check that Sidekick was correct. So in order to actually build this, the process is actually really simple. If you want to do this on your own website, all you have to do is just take the URL to your website and call this endpoint upsert web data. So I'm going to do that right now with the bento ML documentation. So I'm just going to take that URL and call upsert web data with it. So we're going to do that right here. And so what this is going to do is it's going to take the web page that I just pasted, scrape all of that, and then crawl through all of the links that are linked on that page in order to get all of my documentation, scrape it, chunk it into bite-sized pieces so that they can fit into the ChatGPT prompt window, and then store all of that in a vector database so that we can search it easily. So we're just going to wait for this function to finish running. All right, so now that this process is actually finished, all of our data from our documentation is now stored in our vector database. So now what we can do is we can actually ask ChatGPT questions based on that documentation. So for example, I can ask it how to run tests. So I'm going to run that function right now. And what this is going to do is just search through all that documentation, feed it into the ChatGPT API, and then it's going to give me an answer. So the answer is that, to run tests, you can use the bentoml.testing module. And in addition to the actual answer, we also get all of the sources that were used to construct this answer. And we also get this really useful field can answer that tells us if the answer to my question is actually in the sources in the documentation. And so that's really useful for checking hallucinations to see if this answer is actually correct or not. So you can actually use this in any of your ChatGPT apps. It can be used as a Slack bot, Discord bot, chat widget, or even as a ChatGPT plugin. Check it out on GitHub and tell us what you think.